Let's talk about ternary statements in JavaScript. Ternary statement is just a shorthand way of writing an if statement. So we could rewrite this if statement like this, where the question mark is the if part and the colon is the else. So this statement is exactly the same as writing this right here. Now, with an if statement, you don't have to have an else. That part's optional, and you'll do this a lot. But in a ternary statement, you do have to have the colon. If you don't, you'll get an error telling you that a colon was expected. But one way around this is to use the double ampersand operator in JavaScript. And what this does is it asks JavaScript, are both of these things true? If the first one is false, it doesn't even bother to execute the second because it already knows that the whole thing is false. Now, what if we wanted to say if this was false, then do this? Well, in that case, we could use a bang in front here, which would invert the value of is logged in, or there's another option, which is to use the actual or operator in JavaScript. And what this does is it asks JavaScript, are either of these things true? If this is true, then it doesn't bother to evaluate this because it already knows that the whole statement's true because of the or operator. If this is false, then it goes ahead and it tries to execute this here. Now, you can combine these things to take a very complex statement like this here, if statement, and turn it into something extremely concise. So believe it or not, this here is the same as this here. We're just using the double ampersand and the ternaries to make it shorter. Now, the complaint people will have is that this is harder to read, but it doesn't have to be. If you use a tool like Prettier to format, it puts the ternaries on their own line and indents them, which makes this whole thing a lot easier to read and the code very nice and tight and concise. And that is the ternary statement.